Sorry about that. Let me reopen my PowerPoint. Okay. As I mentioned, the previous meeting action items include uploading the meeting minutes and recording from the previous TAC meeting to our Vincent Thomas Bridge project website. That has been uploaded, so you can watch the previous meeting there. Another action item was to determine whether the Phillips 66 facility decommissioning will significantly impact the traffic near the project. And after discussing this with our project team, it was determined that this decommissioning will not impact the closure for the Vincent Thomas Bridge Deck Replacement Project. And the third action item was to add LAFD to all relevant meetings related to the Goods Movement Stakeholder Group, which they were added. For the prior CAC meeting, we had it on May 28th online, and the presentation topics included our project schedule update, our pre-full closure construction work and post-full closure construction work, a recap of the Goods Movement stakeholder meeting that we had, and some of those topics included pre and post bridge closure timing, the subcommittees, detail route improvements, as well as project coordination and public information updates. Some of the comments that were made during the last CAC meeting were included from the Northwest San Pedro Neighborhood Council, and they asked whether there would be noise affecting residents and workers who live near the Vincent Thomas Bridge, as the construction schedule is set to take place overnight. And after reaching out to our environmental team, it was determined that there will not be there won't be any impacts for this project as far as noise, so that shouldn't impact the residents while the construction takes place. Along with that, the Office of Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass inquired about the types of outlets and strategies being used to inform the community about the Vincent Thomas Bridge Deck Replacement Project and related closures, and she asked to be included in conversations. She also mentioned that suggesting that we hold a meeting with her to discuss outreach efforts for the project, which we already have that outreach. We reached out to her, and we're waiting on a response to have a meeting and move forward. But we also sent her our public information items and outreach efforts for her awareness. And finally, the Northwest San Pedro Neighborhood Council invited Caltrans and CAC members to a meeting regarding the Phillips 66 decommissioning project that was held on June 9th. Okay, so here's a project schedule that we have right now. Rima, is there anything that you'd like to add or mention?
Thank you, Diana. So we have the same schedule. There is no update since last time. Just want to remind you that currently project is in design phase, and we will complete it later this summer. Construction will start in late winter of this year with pre-full closure work, which will be completed in fall of 2026. The full closure will begin in fall of 2026 and end in winter of 27-28. It will last up to 16 months. And post-full closure phase will begin in winter 27-28 and be completed in winter 28-29. Okay.
Thank you, Rima. Okay, so now we'll go over some of the topics that were discussed in the most recent Goods Movement stakeholder meeting recap. So one of the topics that was discussed was pre and post bridge closure timings. Caltrans agreed to support the industry request to postpone the start of the 16-month closure to November of 2026 after the peak shipping season. Along with that, Caltrans supports the nightly one-directional closure schedule, with the westbound closures being from 10:45 p.m. to 6:45 a.m. and the eastbound closures from 10:15 p.m. to 6:45 a.m. on frequent weekends to install temporary protective shields, access platforms, temporary stair towers, elevators, and temporary brazing during the pre-full closure. This will reduce impacts on port operations, and more working days will be required to complete the construction task, extending the project timeline and increasing costs. For the next topic, it was regarding the air gap issue subcommittee. Caltrans announced a solution that avoids the previously expected 11-inch permanent reduction in bridge air gap. The new design will allow installations of the traveler rail without reducing vertical clearance and may increase it by 1 to 2 inches. A temporary 2.5 foot air gap restriction will be in place only during construction Along with that, Caltrans will submit a project initiation letter to the Coast Guard, including detailed timelines for the construction impact on the air gap. And finally, the Coast Guard requires that the 500-foot navigational channel remain open as much as possible during construction. In regards to the TMP subcommittee, Caltrans identified 26 intersections where traffic officers could be deployed during the closure. The TMP subcommittee will be formed to discuss CCTV and traffic control locations, public notification strategies, and 24/7 incident response. Along with that, participants requested that Caltrans considers developing a mobile application for the public information efforts. And for the next few slides, I'll pass it over to Kenny Young to go over some more details about the subcommittee. Ken?
Thank you, Diana. In terms of the CCTV cameras, this is a listing of 20 locations that are currently being placed to map and will probably be represented at the next TMP subcommittee on Monday, next Monday, that is. The locations follow a similar path as we provided for the traffic control officers, focused on the detours, the hard closures, but also with an eye towards circulatory routes, especially truck circulatory routes and going through the neighborhoods. So in Anaheim, at Avalon, for example, and Eubank, those are some routes we identified. We also have some locations in San Pedro at the terminus of the 110 freeway at Gaffey and at Gaffey at Channel. Next slide. In terms of service, freeway service patrol, we're providing freeway service patrol not only for this freeway system, but extending onto the state highway system and the detour itself. So we're extending on the 110 and the 710, we're extending service beyond where it currently exists all the way through the project limits. And then we're adding PCH, State Route 1, and State Route 103, as well as the most crucial part of it along the detour of Harry Bridges to Alameda, Anaheim, Henry Ford Avenue, and State Route 47. And basically, they're labeled as beats, and beats basically refer to corridors that are being patrolled. Next slide, please. So there'll be two forms of freeway service patrol, one for the regular service patrol, and another, which will be in the subsequent slide, that speaks to big rigs. For the most part, the beats identified here will run from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. with 2 trucks during the peak hours. During the weekdays, there'll be 13-hour shifts at this time, and during the weekends, 8.5-hour shifts. Next slide, please. The next one. Thanks.
Sorry, it went too fast.
No problem. For the big rigs, some of these corridors or beats will be consolidated and patrolled at 14-hour shifts on Monday through Friday, starting at 5 a.m. and ending at 7 p.m. and on Saturdays, starting and ending at the same time. So this, Diana, I'm going to kind of go off script here. I'm going to add to the agenda. We also, in addition to the TMP subcommittee, we've had an emergency response plan subcommittee. We met last week to discuss items of need in the area, most notably a lack of EMT on Terminal Island. So some of the outcomes were discussions surrounding, I'll say, proposals to add an EMT and ambulance service to Terminal Island. There was some discussion regarding the availability of a fireboat. In terms of action items, we talked about obtaining the jurisdiction and the boundaries and the contacts associated with the first responders, as well as providing closure hours, anticipated closure schedule, so to speak, for the first responders to digest and adjust, or to plan ahead, so to speak. And within the fire departments itself, they discussed think what they refer to as the automatic aid agreement. So those are some action items and some outcomes from the last meeting. I expect to schedule the next meeting as soon as next Tuesday. And that's the end of my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Ken. One of the other topics that was discussed during the latest PMSA meeting has to do with the Rail Crossing Labor Discharge Subcommittee. As of now, there's a train curfew in place from 5:30 a.m. to 6:30 a.m. in which the trains must keep moving and not stop at all rail crossings. The ILWU and PMA will coordinate to define specific time windows based on worker dispatch schedules. Some of the security concerns raised include cargo theft and copper wire theft from the rail signal systems. Train delays can cause severe backups across the national rail network, extending as far as Santa Fe, New Mexico, and beyond. The Port of Los Angeles is analyzing the impact of train slowdowns and will be reporting findings to the subcommittee in about a month. And I was informed that this train curfew may change, but this is what we have right now, and we'll update as needed when we need to. In regards to the detour route improvement, the ILWU emphasized the critical need for repairs on Anaheim Street between Alameda Street and Henry Ford Avenue. As we've mentioned in previous meetings, we're looking forward to providing resurfacing improvements on Anaheim Street between those intersections. Along with that, trucking companies reported frequent tire and rim damage due to poor road conditions, and Caltrans is conducting a study to confirm rehabilitation needs and will update the subcommittee with findings. Okay, now I'll pass it on to Sumei for our area projects coordination map and schedule.
Thank you, Diana. Next slide, please.
Sumei,
Yeah,
can I interject? I have my hand up.
Please go ahead.
I just wanted to clarify, I think, misrepresentation and misunderstanding of curfews. Curfew in itself means no movement. So there's informal curfews of not moving trains across. The railroads can't stop trains on these crossings. There's a PUC law which prevents or prohibits stopping more than 10 minutes, but they're still moving, shunting back and forth sometimes. So this will be cleared up and clarified in subsequent meetings.
Thanks, Carrie. Okay.
Yeah, so we don't have any changes on the project coordination map since the last meeting. As you can see, we have no more reds, meaning that most of the projects along the proposed detour routes will not be in direct conflict with the VTB debt replacement project, specifically the Alameda South and North project. We do still have some projects in the vicinity by our partner agencies. They'll be happening at the same time. The one in the light brown, orange color, but again, they're not along the proposed detour route. So at this point, we just continue to monitor and work with the partner agencies on the TMP strategies. One thing that Ray has been asking us to look into is the decommissioning of the Phillips 66 plant. Like Diana mentioned earlier, we did reach out to a rep from Phillips 66. The plants will be closed down at the end of this year, we were told, but they will go through a 3 to 5 years of environmental process, cleaning up, title changes. So nothing will happen after the plants are shut down at the end of this year for 3 to 5 years instead of traffic impact. So at this point, we did not add that project to the map for tracking purposes because it is not projected to have any conflict with the VTB debt replacement project. And next slide, please. So these are the schedules that we have for all the projects by the partner agencies. If anybody has any update to share, please let us know. If not, I think, yeah, we'll continue to work with all the agencies, and that will end my reporting. If anybody has anything updates to share with us, please let us know now.
Kerry has his hand raised.
Oh, I guess it doesn't automatically go down, sir. I'll lower it.
Okay, all right, sorry.
That's all I have, Diana. Thank you everyone for continuing to working with Caltrans on this. Thank you.
Thank you, Simei. Okay, so now I'm going to go over a couple of our frequently used public information outreach efforts for the project and just some changes that we've had made to our outreach efforts. So some of our efforts include internet advertising. We are going to ensure that we serve a lot of the primarily Spanish-speaking residents in the harbor area, and I provided some examples of the announcement of the closure that we're going to send out to to Spanish-speaking communities. And we also included a link to our project website that also has the English and Spanish resources and project materials for them to use anytime. So this is one of the many outreach efforts that we have, and the most recent one. Along with that, we've really been using our social media outlets. We have specific VTB social media handles on Instagram, X, and Facebook now. So please follow us there to get as many updates as you can for the project. I've mentioned this example in previous TAC meetings, but when we closed State Route 47 on the bridge back in March, our outreach efforts really helped, and the great work from our team really helped prevent any type of issues and delays for the residents. So that's our goal, and we want to continue having these engaging with our communities to ensure that everybody's on the same page. So please spread the word on our social media handles. And we also include all of the press releases that we send out for closures or meetings in the social media platforms as well. Another recent outreach effort that we've implemented is the text message notifications. Recently, Nathan, another PIO colleague, he created a sign up form for residents to register their phone numbers or email address to receive text message alerts in English or Spanish for the project in real time. We actually sent out our first text message last week regarding a closure on State Route 47, and as of recently, we've had about 1,000 signups. So that's thanks to our participation in recent community meetings and our monthly newsletter and our monthly technical and community advisory committee meetings. So we really want to encourage stakeholders to also help spread the word so that our residents can get as many real-time notifications before any closures happen. So whenever there's a closure, we will send a text message in English or Spanish, depending on what language the resident signs up with, and they'll have enough time to plan for their route. Okay, so we've reached the end of the presentation, and now we can get started on open discussion. So if anybody has a question, please raise your hand and we'll call on you. Eric Morgan.
Hey, thank you, Dan. Thanks for that last part too about multiple means of pushing out that information. Can we pass it on to our EMD PIO?
Yeah, of course. We I'll send it to you, but we also have it on our website.
Okay.
To register. Thank you.
Right.
I'll send it to you just to make sure you get it.
Okay, thank you,
Action
Dan.
items.
Yeah, that's all I have for now.
Okay. Thank you, Eric.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Anybody else have a question, comment?
Another question about the
Yes.
the goods movement stakeholder meeting.
Mhm.
Was that is that a recurring meeting, or is there plans
Yes.
for next one?
Yes, I
Okay.
believe the next one is on June 25th. Michelle Grubbs from PMSA hosts those meetings. Would you like, I could reach out to her so she can send you an invite if you don't already have it.
Not yet, but yeah, so that would be very much appreciated. Thank you.
Of course. Does anybody have a question?
Oh,
Vincent? Yes. We can't hear you.
Hear me?
Oh, yes, yes, we can hear you now.
Yes. I was going to ask if I could be added also to the stakeholders meetings as well.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you. And I see something in the chat. Okay, Brian will also add you to the list for the PMSA meetings. Thank you. Are there any more questions? Okay. If nobody else has a question, we can continue with the last few slides. 1 second. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay,
Thank you.
so now I'll go over some of the action items that we just established. So I'll send Eric, Morgan, Negusan, and Brian meeting invites for the next PMSA meetings with Michelle. That way they can be included in the meetings are, I believe, every 2 to 3 weeks. So on Wednesdays at 9:30. So the invite will have more information. So I'll make note of that. And of course, we'll upload the recording, the presentation, and the meeting minutes for this TAC meeting on our project website. Okay, and our next TAC meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, July 17th at 2 p.m. Again, my name is Diana Jimenez, one of the public information officers for this project. My colleague Nathan Bass is not here today, but he's also available for any questions that you may have. Please feel free to reach out to us. And we have the QR code for our project website that has all the resources I've listed, including a fact sheet, frequently asked questions in English and Spanish, and the form to sign up for the text notifications for any future closures. Okay. If there are no more questions, I thank you again for your participation, and we look forward to seeing you in the next one.
Just
Thank
quick,
you all.
quick
Yes.
question then. The same link. It's the same link to all of the meetings, right?
Yes, for the tax, yes.
Perfect. Appreciate it. Thank
Raul.
you.
All right, thank you, everybody. Have a great
Thanks,
rest of your
Diana.
day.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Vince.